What if you woke up tomorrow and every screen flashed the same message? Global conflict has begun. Imagine the world's rhythm, news, travel, daily routines, suddenly silenced, airports shut down, stock markets crash, military alerts echo across nations. The systems we rely on, food, information, security, thrown into chaos in hours. No warning, no preparation, just one terrifying reality. World War III has started. The machinery of conflict, long dormant, roars to life with breathtaking speed. The real question isn't who started it, but what happens next, to you, your country, and the world. There would be no formal declaration, just a spark in a volatile flashpoint. It could be a disputed border, a downed aircraft, or a single miscalculation that sets everything in motion. Tensions that have simmered for years would suddenly ignite, catching the world off guard. In mere minutes, alliances and treaties, meant to keep peace, would instead pull distant nations into a widening conflict. Countries bound by promises and old rivalries would be forced to choose sides, and the world would fracture, along lines drawn long ago. Automated defense systems programmed to respond instantly would react before leaders could even intervene. Missiles would launch, alarms would blare, and the machinery of war would begin to move on its own. The first major power's involvement would mark the point of no return. Once a superpower commits, escalation becomes inevitable, and the world would watch as the situation spirals beyond control. Years of tension, suspicion, and arms buildup would culminate in a rapid, uncontrollable escalation. Decades of preparation would be unleashed in a matter of hours, overwhelming any hope for diplomacy. News would be chaotic, riddled with propaganda, misinformation, and cyber attacks. The truth would be buried beneath a flood of conflicting reports, making it nearly impossible to know what's really happening. The truth of how it started would vanish in the fog of war. Confusion and fear would spread faster than any weapon, leaving people grasping for answers that may never come. One moment, life is normal. The next, it's shattered by the sudden realization that nothing will ever be the same. Ordinary routines would be interrupted by sirens, alerts, and the sound of distant explosions. There would be no time to prepare, no chance to say goodbye. Families would be separated in an instant, and entire cities would empty as people flee for safety. The war would arrive uninvited, everywhere, at once. No place would feel truly safe, as the conflict spreads across borders and continents with terrifying speed. Each action would trigger a reaction spiraling out of control. Like falling dominoes, every decision would set off a chain of consequences, making peace seem more distant with every passing hour. The logic of war would take over, relentless and brutal. Human decisions would be replaced by the cold calculations of strategy and survival, as leaders and soldiers alike are swept up in the chaos. World War III would begin, not with a single bang, but with millions of silent realizations that the world has changed forever, and that nothing will ever return to the way it was before. The first day would be a blur of disbelief and fear. Around the world, people freeze in place, unable to process the enormity of what's unfolding. News anchors struggle to find words, while social media explodes with rumors and frantic speculation. The sense of normalcy shatters in an instant. Air travel halts, stranding millions in foreign cities and airports. Financial markets collapse in minutes, wiping out fortunes and retirement savings. The global economy, so interconnected, unravels at breathtaking speed. Governments freeze banking systems, amplifying panic as people lose access to their money. Lines form outside shuttered banks, and the fear of losing everything grows with each passing hour. Emergency alerts blare. Stay indoors. This is not a drill. The warnings echo through empty streets and crowded apartments alike, as uncertainty spreads faster than the news itself. Streets empty as military convoys roll out and reservists say hurried goodbyes. The sound of boots and engines replaces the usual city bustle, and families cling to each other, unsure when, or if, they'll reunite. Cyber attacks cripple power grids and communication networks, plunging cities into darkness and confusion. The digital world, once a source of comfort, becomes a source of fear as information grows scarce. Panic buying empties store shelves, supermarkets become scenes of desperation. People scramble for essentials, driven by the primal urge to protect their families. Social order cracks as trust between neighbors and the state erodes. Arguments flare, and the thin veneer of civility begins to peel away. Soldiers patrol city streets, a jarring sign that everything has changed. The presence of armed forces is both reassuring and deeply unsettling. For individuals, it's a frantic search for loved ones and information. Phone lines jam, and every unanswered call fuels the anxiety. Sirens, jets overhead, and the realization that nowhere is safe. The sky, once a symbol of freedom, now brings only dread. Borders seal, alliances harden, and the world divides into hostile camps. Old rivalries resurface and new lines are drawn overnight. The initial shock fades into grim acceptance. People gather in silence, trying to make sense of a world that's changed beyond recognition. The question on everyone's mind: what comes next? The future, once taken for granted, is now a terrifying unknown. The abstract idea of war becomes terrifyingly real. The threat is no longer distant. It's at the doorstep. Survival becomes the only priority. In the darkness of the first night, hope flickers, but fear is everywhere. Looming over every decision is the threat of nuclear weapons, enough destructive power to end civilization as we know it. The mere existence of these weapons casts a long shadow over global politics, shaping every move on the world stage. Mutually assured destruction, once a deterrent that kept superpowers in check, now hangs by a thread. The balance is fragile, and the risk of miscalculation or misunderstanding has never been higher. Every conventional attack, no matter how small, risks spiraling into nuclear escalation. The world's militaries operate under constant tension, knowing that a single mistake could trigger catastrophe. Leaders make decisions with the fate of the planet in their hands, weighing every option with the knowledge that one wrong move could unleash devastation on a global scale. Modern war isn't just missiles and bombs. Cyber warfare now targets power plants, hospitals, and critical infrastructure, threatening to paralyze entire nations without a single shot fired. Autonomous drones and AI-driven weapons patrol the skies and streets, making split-second decisions that once belonged to humans. The battlefield is increasingly automated, and the pace of conflict accelerates. Swarms of explosive drones and hypersonic missiles can overwhelm even the most advanced defenses in minutes, leaving little time to react or seek shelter. Propaganda and deepfakes blur the line between truth and fiction, manipulating public opinion and sowing confusion. Information itself becomes a weapon, used to destabilize societies from within. Every citizen becomes both a target and a participant in the information war. Their actions and beliefs shaped by invisible hands. The front lines are everywhere, and no one is untouched. The line between home front and battlefield disappears. Nowhere is truly safe. Ordinary neighborhoods can become war zones in an instant, and families must adapt to a new reality. A cyber attack could cripple your hospital. A drone strike could hit your city without warning. The threats are unpredictable and ever-present. War becomes faster, more lethal, and more pervasive than ever before. The speed and reach of modern conflict leave little room for error or escape. The cold efficiency of modern weaponry, combined with the ever-present nuclear risk, creates a world of unimaginable horror and uncertainty. Humanity is caught in the crossfire of machines and algorithms, struggling to maintain control in a world where technology and warfare are inseparable. Civilian life would become unrecognizable overnight. Mass layoffs as industries collapse. Basic goods become scarce and expensive. Rationing replaces abundance. Long lines, empty shelves, and daily struggle. Power and water become luxuries. Hospitals are overwhelmed and undersupplied. Martial law, curfews, and checkpoints restrict movement. Borders become walls, trapping populations and cutting off escape. Social trust erodes, paranoia, black markets and suspicion take hold. Refugee crises explode, but borders are closed and camps overflow. The psychological toll is immense: anxiety, trauma, and constant fear. Daily life is reduced to survival: food, water, warmth, and safety. Pre-war concerns fade. The fight for civilization is now in every home. The world regresses, and the struggle is relentless. The new normal is a daily battle to endure. The global economy would shatter, not just decline. International shipping halts, factories and supply chains grind to a stop. Energy becomes a weapon. Oil and gas cutoffs trigger a worldwide crisis. Currencies collapse. Hyperinflation and barter replace money. Economic blocs form around warring powers focused solely on war production. International debt and financial systems become meaningless. For ordinary people, savings and salaries are worthless. Survival depends on access to real resources. The economic order that lifted billions from poverty vanishes in weeks. The world enters a new dark age of economics. Prosperity and growth are replaced by subsistence and survival. Political reasons for war are forgotten, overshadowed by economic devastation. The struggle is no longer between nations but between humanity and starvation. The collapse is total and relentless. Even in chaos, diplomacy would fight to survive. Neutral nations and organizations would scramble for a ceasefire, but momentum and vengeance drive escalation. Propaganda and public opinion make compromise seem impossible. Leaders, trapped by war fever, struggle to find an off-ramp. Decisions are made under stress, fear, and incomplete information. A fleeting window for peace might open after catastrophic loss, but seizing it requires immense courage. Modern warfare's speed and automation shrink decision time. Nuclear escalation could happen before talks begin. If survival or ideology is at stake, negotiation may be impossible. Stopping the war becomes a race against time. Diplomacy versus the logic of escalation. Hope for reason remains, but the machinery of conflict may prove unstoppable. The future hangs in the balance. This glimpse into World War III is a warning, a future we must prevent. Peace and stability are fragile, maintained by diplomacy and understanding. Our systems are more vulnerable than we think, and our weapons more destructive. Awareness is the first step to prevention. The future is shaped by our choices. Share this video if you believe peace is worth protecting. The responsibility for peace lies with all of us, because the future is not guaranteed.